Hey everyone, Thordan Smash and Ragnar here, and today we've got our Vantage hat on in the middle of summer to get ready for the new winter-based legend, but we're also going to go over some of the nerfs and buffs and how it has a couple of players concerned about the upcoming meta. Of course, we'll also talk about the Flatline heatsink recolor and so much more, and we're also going to give out 45 bucks. All you gotta do is like, comment, subscribe. You guys know the drill, but without further ado, let's talk about Apex. So Apex Legends Season 14 is probably going to be the biggest change we have ever seen in the game in terms of meta. There are so many changes, from new hop-ups being added, such as the laser sights that will add a new barrel attachment for pistols and SMGs. The Spitfire is now switching over to light ammo. The Wingman is now going to take sniper ammo. The EVA 8 is getting a buff, even though it was just nerfed recently. The Rampage and that bow check bow are now going both into the care package, as we've never seen before. Two guns actually get rotated in, and the Volts and the G7 are coming back to the ground floor. And while some of these changes are really cool and will be very interesting to see, a lot of players are already concerned. Aberelli already noted that the 30-30 is going to be getting a buff now that it can take the skull piercer. The repeater already did 96 damage if you hit someone in the head, but with the skull piercer it's going to jump up to 120, and if you shoot from behind a rampart wall it'll do between 140 and 150 damage, which is creeping into Kraber territory almost. We also know that the skull piercer is going to go on the Wingman, but it may not make that much of a difference, as the Wingman is now going to be going to sniper ammo. Imperial Hal makes a great point. Why would anyone bother picking up the Wingman now that it takes sniper when you can just grab a charge rifle, which is a hit scan weapon and so much more functionally easier to use for a vast majority of players? Whereas the Wingman is insanely good, but it does take skill to master and get good with. To negate that, you would really need to nerf the charge rifle, and the developers actually did yesterday state that they are looking at doing a nerf to the charge rifle. It won't be coming in Season 14, but they need to find a way to make it more balanced. The thing was an absolute beast when it was actually introduced into the game, and even though it had received a nerf, it is still one of the easiest to use weapons and can be an absolute demolisher of other teams. Hal also brought up a good point that since we are getting the devotion in the RE45 and the crafter, it's a little bit of a weird meta because not too many people are going to go over and try to craft an RE45. And the other huge change was the fact that they removed self-res from the gold knockdown, instead giving it the function of the gold backpack where when you get picked up you have more health, and they made it so that the gold backpack you can now carry more big heals, which I think is actually a cool change. But in terms of the self-res, I would have liked to have seen that be only in ranked. I think it's actually a pretty unique feature. It makes for some really fun endgame in public lobbies. In terms of shotties, it seems like Respawn has a really hard time with the EVA 8. I don't know if too many people remember, but they had to nerf it in Season 11 less than a year ago because of how powerful it was and people were complaining, and now it's getting a buff to make it arguably even stronger than it was before. I honestly think a lot of these changes will be good and make a lot of the player base happy, but I can also see very easily a couple of these changes frustrating the community as well. But hopefully Season 14 goes pretty strong, especially since they have a new feature that they have talked about it. We brought it up before here with Medina and Jordan Rapp talking about something that hasn't been leaked yet. What's interesting is Jordan Rapp actually works pretty close to another developer named Ricklesauce, who has talked many times about the skill-based matchmaking. It's actually possible that we could see some kind of overhaul to that system, as it is one of the things that players complain about the most in public lobbies. There was even something teased when Sword Drumbum talked about how he really wished there was a solo mode in Apex Legends, and iLoot Games actually did the eyes as if he knew something was coming in the future. It's impossible to know if this is actually something that will happen. It would make the player base really happy. There are very old quotes that say Respawn will never ever add in solos mode. However, it is a very old quote. The development team has completely changed, and Respawn has gone back on things that they said would never be added into the game before, hence Battle Pass recolors. They've obviously got something hidden for Season 14 that no one knows about yet, so this would be absolutely phenomenal if we could actually see something like this. And lastly but not leastly, you guys saw the Flatline in the thumbnail. Everyone's been waiting for the heatsink recolor. I talked about it a long time ago. Well, I did talk to Oz, who gave us all the patch notes earlier, who does have some inside sources of his own, and he did let me know that he has a playtester friend who has in fact seen the recolor of the Flatline. So now there's two people, myself and Oz, who have both heard about this from internal sources that are completely distinct from each other. Some kind of sad news is it does look like Uplink was scrapped. I haven't actually heard that yet, so do take that with a grain of salt, just like anything else you hear in terms of internal leaks. But it is kind of nice that it does look like we will finally be getting that Flatline heatsink recolor in the very near future. I honestly think it's going to be slated for the recolor event, which we will be getting in Season 14, which should be based on weaponry as we got Legends last season. Let me know down below, are you guys excited for the meta changes in Season 14? What do you think about the heatsink Flatline recolor, and how do you feel about the new feature that they are teasing will come to the game? And until next time, Legends, keep slaying in the Outlands, and we'll see you out there.